that Avanza have been actually using BigQuery out there in the real life.
Yes, thank you. So I'm going to talk about how we use the BigQuery technology to leverage an analytical workload that previously took us 24 hours, and now we can do it in under 60 seconds. But before I jump into that, I want to talk a little bit about Avanza. We are an investment platform. We operate only in Sweden, and we have above 1.8 million customers currently. We are 650 people working out of Stockholm, all of us. Just so you get an understanding of how we are organized internally, a big part of us are part of the product and tech department, and that's because we are an online-first bank. You will integrate with our interfaces through Android, iOS, web page, or through the telephone. So a lot of us are actually working in this organization here. And we are 30 autonomous development team, self-serving, and we are divided into 5 different product areas. And as you probably see, I'm trying to illustrate a little bit here with my illustration, is that 3 of those product areas, they are the one building the actual interface, the things that our customers are engaging with in the app or on the website. Then we have 2 product areas, which is the business platform and the technology platform, which build tooling platforms in order to make it possible for the development teams to take their ID to production, hopefully in a matter of days. Since I will be talking about BigQuery, I just want to talk a little bit about our current architecture. So we are a bank that does focus on microservice-oriented architecture. This is nothing new for most of you here. We have today, I think it's above 1,700 different applications that communicate through a quite tight and well-defined home-built API framework. All of those applications, those microservices, they will store their data, their own, in a random access memory. And this kind of architecture, again, is nothing new, but it gives some really nice attributes. For example, the latency becomes very low because they're interacting with a random access storage solution. And the well-defined API framework will actually help us create high fault tolerance, meaning that if we have an error in one part of the system, it won't necessarily propagate and destroy other part of the system and create a bad customer experience. So this architecture is great, right? However, it's actually on purpose not very well for analytical workloads. It's not good to crunch big volumes of data. It's actually, by design, not good at it. And this was the problem that we had around 2018 when I joined Avanza. And we talked about how we can solve this problem because we do want to use this technology and these capabilities to create better customer experience. So what we ended up doing is implementing a separate platform on separate infra and an organization now consisting of 3 agile development teams. So as the yellow arrow tries to explain or try to show you, now it's possible for all 30+ development teams to produce data to our Kafka cluster. They can consume it also. And that is handled by the distribution platform team. So that is a team of highly specialized developers, data engineers, maintaining and creating tooling for the Kafka cluster. Automated then, the teams can decide whether they want this data available for analytical workloads or not by sending it to the analytical platform, which of course is BigQuery. That's what we're going to talk about here. That makes it possible for all of the development teams now to interact with the data, enrich the data, provide tests for the data, create their pipelines using dbt in SQL. And when needed, you can create visualization in Looker BI, and then we have the BI platform team doing that. And I suppose many of you are working similar with your data platforms here, and what you probably also realize that this is not only a technology shift, right? It's also an organizational shift, how we handle and how we work with data. So a lot of what the teams in the data platform teams does is actually providing support, senior expertise to developers and development teams. How should you solve your problems? How can our platform help you do that? We facilitate a lot of learning activities internally, trying to speak the message of data. And we implemented a data strategy across the product and tech organization, which highly depends on the 4 principles of data mesh. So we are really buying into this concept and the concept of data products and ownership of whoever is distributing the data to the rest of the organization. So that's some background. Now I'm going to talk about the use case relating to BigQuery. And this is in Swedish. Our site is currently only in Swedish, and this is just some fake data I put in. But one functionality we have on our website is the possibility for all customers to see the amount of fees they have been paying to us or our partners a couple of years back. So historical data of historical fees. And if you are a customer, you can go into this feature and see it yourself. And when you're looking at it like this, it doesn't look very hard, doesn't it? It's like probably like a row of data somewhere. You summarize it, select who the customer is, and then you show it in the interface. But when you think about it, it's actually quite complex because there's a lot of things controlling what are the price plan for that customer. Is or is he not a part of a household at that point? So a lot of things happening with the different price plans. And also the data volumes becomes, for us at least, probably some companies here with a lot more data, but for us, huge amounts of data because we have almost 2 million customers. There are 365 days a year, and maybe we have 5 years of historical data in this case, for example. We have so many instruments, and it will change the cost for that day. So we are talking about thousands of rows of Java to implement this logic, and we are talking about billions and billions of rows of data, terabytes of data, just to visualize or calculate the historical fees for a customer. So that is the problem, and the service-oriented architecture I just described, the blue box earlier, it's not at all built for that, right? It's not a good fit for that kind of problems. So the solution for us is that we push the data to BigQuery using the Kafka cluster, as mentioned before, and then we created a possibility for that specific development team with that problem to enrich the data how they want, apply any of the business rules I just described, and there are tons more of them. They can write their test also in DBT, fully visualized, and then they can package it now to a data product, which is one of the 4 principles of the data mesh framework. So they could do all this in SQL, make it available as a valuable and reusable data product for the entire organization. And I censored a lot about this picture, but what you're looking at in the lineage there, you see the green boxes. Those are representing the raw data as it comes from the Kafka cluster. Then we have the different modules, or the business logic, represented as the blue boxes. And then you could visualize the data product, the finished and reusable data product, as an exposure in DBT, like on the picture. So by moving this workload to BigQuery, as mentioned by the title, the calculation time dropped from almost 24 hours into 60 seconds, which less than 60 seconds actually. And this is a big deal from a developer experience point of view. Imagine if you're trying to find something in the code, maybe you need to troubleshoot or fix something in the logic, and then to verify it, you have to wait a day. Right? It's not at all. It's very bad developer experience. Now they could use BigQuery, which we are extremely satisfied with, instead, and make the developer experience higher. And also, as a plus, much more friendlier for the environment, which is a good thing. We don't have to hold terabytes of data in RAM anymore, and it's less CPU also. There is one more thing. If this was not crazy enough. No, but I took this just to illustrate my key point here, is that we did this in order to reduce the calculation time rights, to improve functionality on the website, but we've also created a high-quality data product, which is potentially reused by whoever needs it and have access. Maybe a UX designer to do an insight, or maybe some governmental report. As long as you have access, the data is now, with the contract from the team, available for whoever needs it. And that's basically what I had.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Fredrik. So does this mean that you're done now? Can you stop? Or do you have any more plans going forward?
Yeah. So the thing is, this is super complex. With the data mesh principles, it's very easy to read, but it's actually extremely tough to implement. So we are going to spend a lot of time, or continue to spend a lot of time in educating the team as a platform organization to make these solutions more adapted within Avanza. So we have a lot of things to do, and we are not done at all.
Excellent. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for listening. And if you have any kind of follow-up questions and so on, find us out there on the main floor, and we'll gladly continue this conversation. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fredrik. Thank you. Yeah. What amazing story, and so many great learnings, and another product on the way. Super exciting. So next thing here on